Hey, it's Mike again, and in this video I'm going to show you how to add internal and external links to your Mag Plus layouts. Let's start with something simple. You've got a web address, a URL, you want the user to be able to tap that, open that web link in a pop-up web browser. So you can see we've got a little call out here to the site. Now you always start by selecting an element and then adding the link to it. That really just tells the system what layer that link should appear on. Now you can create a special element for it, or you can use an existing one here. So I've just selected that, I've clicked Add Link. Now you see what happens is that a box is automatically drawn over that element the same size. Up here on this clickable areas, it's literally your hotspot. That's where the person can click to trigger this action, in this case opening up the link. I can resize that, I can move it around, I can make it any size I want. In this case I'll leave it here. You'll see that it's a hotspot. Now there's link and jump link. Jump link we'll talk about in a minute. I can have this open in an embedded browser, a pop-up browser, or actually take people out of the app into the Safari browser. Under the URL, of course, just type the URL of where you want it to go. And the external icon just means if I do use that embedded browser, do I want to give people an icon that will let them then jump out into Safari? So let's hit Fast Review and see how this is going to actually function out in the Reviewer app. In this case, I'm just using the sim on my desktop. There's my box, tap that link, up pops the web browser, and you can see a little bit of the screen around it so that people know they haven't left the app entirely. There's my page. Got a reload button front and back. It's a fully functional browser. There's my external jump link, and when I'm done I just hit done and I'm back to the page itself. Now let's talk about how to do a jump link. This is when you want to take somebody somewhere else in an issue, or even to another issue, or maybe to another spot in a given vertical. This is a table of contents page that they've built for Popular Science. Each one of these stories is then linked to the appropriate page in the issue. Here's one where I've just deleted the link. So here we've actually drawn a box specifically for this around the element we want. We hit link, draws that hotspot box, that blue hotspot box. In this case I use jump link. Now what's cool is that as long as I'm pointing at the right issue folder, any pages I've already created and exported, it sees in this little pull down vertical menu. So I can just use that to point exactly to where I want to go. And it automatically populates that URL field using the article ID that I've entered up above. I can do that manually, but it's much easier to use that pull down. And I can even jump to a specific object on that page if I want to. In this case, I'm just going to jump to the top of the page. Now I'll just go out to the production tool and show you how this works in action. Here I'm just going to export a few pages as a sort of issue so you can see what happens when you jump across pages like this. So I hit that review, I get my instant MIB out in the Reviewer app. You can see all three of my pages are there. Now if I scroll up to where I just made that hot link, tap it, boom, takes me right to that page. Really pretty straightforward, and a similar thing works if you link across issues. There's one more function I want to show you which is pretty useful if you have particularly long stories like this one. This is a long feature out of a recent issue of PopSci. You can see it's 5 pages long, probably 3,000 words. You can actually jump up and down in a vertical, so you can jump to a specific object ID if you want to using that same URL field. Or you can do what I'm going to do here, which is just at the bottom of the article give people a way to jump back instantly to the top, so they don't have to scroll and scroll and scroll to get up there. I'm going to make a pretty ugly little button here, but you get the idea. You can make any kind of button you want, hit that add link button, and it'll draw a box on top of it. So I'll just say something like return to top, put it in a nice little font. There's my box, I click add link, I get my hotspot, let me position that, there I get my hotspot over the top of it. Make a jump like, now to jump to the top, all I do is put in a backslash. That's all I need to tell it to jump to the top of that. So now let's jump out and see how this actually works. If I wanted to go to a specific object, I would just type slash and then that object ID. And you can see where that object ID is in the plugin. So you just select the object, see what the object ID is, type that into the URL field, and that's the spot that you'll jump to. You can almost create mini table of contents if you want within a vertical using this function. So now I'm going to scroll and scroll and scroll. So you can see this is actually a really beautiful feature they've designed using some cool masks and artwork on that A layer to mask some of that B layer off. There's the link I've created. Tap it. Boom, all the way back to the top. That's linking. It's really pretty straightforward. Jump into the system and play with it.